Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Scott Heineman, and he has very kindly agreed to do an interview with me here for the page. So how you doing today, Scott?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So for the YouTube folks here, we're going to be doing 10 questions that y'all left in the comments, and I will be putting on the screen everyone who left it, because there actually were a couple duplicate ones here, as well as a question from me. And then to cap it off, we're going to do some more lighthearted, rapid fire, kind of funny questions. So without any further ado, let's get started here. Our first question came from a commenter who said, at what point did you realize that you had a chance at a career in the MLB?
Ooh, it's a good question. I'd say, I was lucky. I was very fortunate to have a brother 2 years older than me that kind of paved the way for me. So, and he's obviously he's reached the big leagues too. But every level that I was hoping to hit and that I eventually did hit, he had already hit before me. So, really, I had a better understanding going into it than beforehand. But I'd say I always knew I was good in little league, and then I knew baseball was, the dream that I wanted to hopefully have happen, and I was going to work as hard as I could to make it happen. But really, I'd say when I got into high school, about my junior year, and started to get some scholarship offers and stuff like that in Oregon, I could sense like my talent level was a little higher than the competition. Really, it just motivated me to work harder. Now, I didn't know necessarily if I was going to be in professional baseball because I didn't get drafted out of high school, got minimal interest. So I knew, I was going to have to work even harder in college. But I'd say really roughly around junior year in high school is when I knew I could have a chance to play in the pros. But the big leagues is a whole different story. And once you get into the minor league system, it depends. Obviously, a lot has to do with where you got drafted, how much you signed for, and stuff like that. But I'd say once I started to have some success in high A, I knew it was more of a possibility, but I just had to keep on trucking. And then, you know, playing in the big leagues is obviously a lot different than the minor leagues. So I'd say it really took me until I was in professional baseball having success before I knew I was going to eventually get to the big league level.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what I always hear about is kind of the grind through all the levels of the minor leagues. And then once you hit the big show, it's just you trying to fight to stay on a roster and all that stuff. So that's
For
great
sure.
stuff. And this next one is a two-parter kind of. Do you have any superstitions, and what are your pregame rituals?
Uh, Superstitions, not really. My my college coach, assistant coach back then, he's the head coach at Oregon now, Mark Wazakowski. He used to call it stupidtitious, just because if you get too into superstitions, then you can you can get so wrapped in that, and then you have to do the same thing every time. And I don't really want that to take away from my focus of hitting the balls hard enough. So I want all my focus to be on hitting the ball as opposed to did I get my batting glove just right? But everyone's got their own thing. Look at Nomar Garcia Power. I used to watch him growing up, and he did the same thing, stepping out of the box every time. But I'd say like my pregame rituals. I take a cold shower before every game. After BP, I don't eat the same thing every time. If I had a good game the game before, I might eat the same thing. But really, the only pregame ritual that I stick to is after BP gets done, I always shower before the game, just because I like that feeling of feeling fresh and ready to go. And it's always a ice cold shower. And probably some people would argue against it, saying like you should be warming up your body. But for me, I just want to wake up, feel great. And then like you got enough adrenaline, I feel like your body warms up itself. So really that's kind of it. No superstitions, but definitely a couple pregame rituals.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know all kinds of players do crazy things sometimes, like you were saying. So everyone's got their thing, it seems like. Kind of building on that question, our next one was, how was the clubhouse chemistry on the Rangers, and who was the funniest guy in your opinion?
What was the last part of that? I missed it cut out the last part. Who
Oh,
was the what?
who was the funniest guy in your
Oh,
opinion?
Yeah, the chemistry was good, especially we had a tight knit group. Obviously, we weren't having success on the field, and in terms of wins and losses, and uh, the pandemic was really hard to deal with. But just because you had to stay quarantined, it was a grind for sure. This year was totally different than anything I had experienced. Just like everyone else, I mean, still to put it in perspective, so fortunate to be able to play every day and go to the field, even though you had to go through the grind of getting tested, and then the team camaraderie was good, but we weren't allowed to do certain things that we were allowed to do in years previous, where, like, for instance, eating in the cafeteria, we had to be spread out, like, where normally, you're just right next to each other, talking the game, talking life. Uh, Same thing in the hot tub, same thing like in the weight room. That kind of all had to be time managed and separated. So it made it tougher for us to bond together as a team for sure. I mean, even in the dugout, we were separated 6 feet, so it's like it's hard to talk the game when you're kind of shouting. Good thing there wasn't any fans, so we could at least hear each other. But the chemistry was good. Obviously, the guys, great coaching staff, great group of guys. The funniest guy for sure was Todd Frazier this year. I mean, that's my guy. Got to give him a shout out. To me, he always kept the clubhouse fun and lighthearted, and every day was a new day. And this is someone who's done it for so long, and for him to bring that veteran presence and that fun-loving nature, even when things weren't going well, it was great to have. And so once he got traded, that made it a little bit tougher. But yeah, I'd say he was definitely the most fun-loving guy in the clubhouse.
Yeah, it seemed like y'all were definitely having fun out there still, even with, like you said, the unfortunate outcome. But just the fact that they got a season at all was good enough for just about everybody. And you kind of touched on this already, but how was your overall experience as a player in Texas, apart from just the clubhouse, just being in the new stadium and all that?
Oh man, new stadium's incredible. Uh I so when I got drafted by Texas, I started in High A, which was in Victorville, California, and then went to Frisco for Double A. So I didn't really branch out much, and then Triple A was in Round Rock, and big leagues in Arlington. When I got called up late in the season in 19, I was just living out of the hotel, so I didn't really get to experience like Dallas or anything like that. And I'm new to Texas, so even when people ask me like, "Oh, you've lived there for 2 years," I don't really feel like it because I didn't get to experience much. I mean, like, even this year, I lived at the hotel that was right next to the field, so straight to the hotel, straight to the field, back and forth every day. I wasn't able to like go out and check out places to eat and stuff like that. So I wish I had gotten to experience that part of Texas, apart from the field. But I mean, yeah, you can't beat that new stadium. It's gorgeous. It made it fun coming to play every day, especially because I'd walk from the hotel to the field and I'd be drenching in sweat by the time I get to the field. And then just knowing you're headed into an AC stadium, and it made it night and day. It made it easy to play in, and just definitely night and day compared to the old stadium where, you'd be cramping up, or you had to be, chugging a whole bottle of water every half inning. So, yeah, no, I think they got a good setup for a long time to come, and yeah, it would have been nice to be a part of, but obviously, excited to be moving on with the Reds.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like it plays pretty big out there as well, that outfield. Did you have any experience with that? Any issues?
Yeah, I mean, to me, when the whole season it played big, especially because I think when we played, we only had two games where the roof was open, and then I was shocked in the playoffs because I mean some of these balls were flying out, and I know the roof was open, but like some of these balls were flying in places I had never seen, and then I would get texts from like my buddies and stuff like that saying like, "Wow, Texas is like an easy place to hit, like it's a bandbox," but my experience there when it was close, and I mean, guys would get into balls like our first series we played the Rockies, and I remember like Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story hit a couple balls that, obviously they're playing at Coors, but they hit a couple balls that are long gone at any park, in my opinion, and they were just mind baffled. They couldn't believe it. I mean, you got Todd Frazier, who, he's played in the league for 9 years. He's a home run derby champion, runner up twice. And in BP, he's like, man, I really got to get into it to get it out of here. So when I was in the playoffs, it kind of shocked me, but to me, yeah, it did play big when I was out there.
That's definitely what I noticed, especially in the first 10 or 20 games. But unfortunately, they didn't get much of a chance to actually adapt to the new
Yeah.
stadium. You give them 162 games, I'm sure we'd start seeing Joey Gallo hitting the top deck every night.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's got it in him for sure.
Yeah. You also got a very unique opportunity to play against your brother Tyler in San Francisco. How was that experience?
That was cool, man. Obviously something you dream about growing up as a kid. We played on the same little league team, played on the same high school team for a year, and then we played against each other 1 year in college. He was a junior, I was a freshman, and then we didn't play each other for, I don't know, a span of like 7 years or so, and then finally in 2019 played each other twice in AAA, 2 series. But so you always saw it coming, but you never know if it actually happens. And just because, I mean, like some teams can play, 5 years without playing the Giants or something like that. I don't know how all the scheduling works, especially like if you're in the AL and NL, but just a really cool opportunity, more for our family. For it would have been awesome if, for our family to be in the stands and stuff like that and enjoy it, but still just a surreal moment. And which made it even better was obviously our managers, Chris Woodward and Gabe Kapler, allowed us to take out the lineup cards. And originally we didn't want to do that because we didn't want to take anything away from the game. Like we didn't want to make it about us because it's not, but they said this is bigger than baseball. Like we won't let you guys say no. Like you'll never know if you get this opportunity again. So he's like, it's not taking anything away from the game. It's not making it about you guys. It's just a cool moment for like two brothers to do. So that was special for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully you get maybe some more opportunities in the future, both being in the same league now. Cause I know the
Yeah.
ALNL thing is, I don't know how that works either. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they do with that. And kind of connecting to that, what was your initial reaction to the news of you being traded to Cincinnati? Because it wasn't that long ago.
No. Yeah. I mean, I was excited. I don't know much about Cincinnati, but like the city or anything like that. Never played at that park. Heard great things. Obviously, they have an incredible history with the Reds, but really just excited. I think a few days prior, maybe like when I got DFA by the Rangers, I was told like by my agent, by John Daniels, that a trade was most likely going to happen. And for that 5-day span, like I had a lot of different teams names thrown at me, and Cincy actually wasn't one of them until kind of the last day. And so I was a little like surprised by it, but it's a great opportunity. I'm excited, and like since I got traded, the Reds organization has been top notch, man. Like first class. I've already spoken with the GM like right away. First day, I think my phone usage was like up to 8 hours or something like that, just because talk to the GM, talk to the head coach David Bell, talk to hitting coach, third base coach. Like you got to talk to a whole new group of guys. I've been with one group for 5 years since being drafted, so but I'd rather have it that way than not talking with them. So it was just it's been great. They've been first class with everything, so I'm excited to meet the guys in spring training. And
yeah, that will be a great experience for sure. Cincinnati's got a great team over there from what I've seen, and I know the Rangers have been very busy this offseason. It seems like I've never seen them on this kind of level for quite some time, making moves and signing people. Another question here is, what was the craziest moment for you in the 2020 season?
I mean, hitting the home run probably against while my brother was behind the plate was pretty special. Especially because he got the win. He got a double in that game. And coming up for my last at bat, I think we were down like 7-2 or something like that. I was 0 for 3. And so kind of like, he obviously, we're competitive and like, we have fun with it. He got the leg up because his team got the win, and that's most important. But I got a little jab in there with the home run. So at family gatherings, I can talk a little smack. But yeah, I mean, that was a cool moment for me. And just, getting to do a jersey swap with him after the game was pretty sweet. So I'd say like that. Yeah, that was the most special moment for sure.
That ballpark's tough to hit anything out of too. I took a tour there last year, and I don't know how any of y'all get home runs out of there. And then this is our last fan question as well. What was it like to play with nobody in the stands for this past season?
It was different. It took me back to, I don't want to bag on any minor league level or something like that, but when I was in high A and like we didn't really have anyone in the stands, or back in like high school where there's no one in the stands, or Oregon at the beginning of the year when it's snowing in February and like there's no one there. I mean, so I was somewhat used to it. I mean, or I shouldn't say used to it, but like I like seen it before. But yeah, really, no one in there. It was just a different feeling. Usually you can't hear like what guys are saying on the field, or like what if someone like gets mad on the field or something like that, you can't really like hear it because all the crowd noise. But like now you can hear everything. So like there's definitely some John from the dugout from side to side, and some good love and banter. But it was just different, man. Like, especially, the broadcast people did a really good job at getting the crowd noise right, making it seem as game like as possible. But it's just a different feeling. And I feel like, especially for years to come with fans in that new stadium, in the dome, like it's going to be a huge momentum factor. Just when like Texas gets a lead, like, those fans are going to be going crazy. And when we had that this year, it wasn't really that same feeling, like, where that's where they can really, take part in the game. And I know, like, when I played at Yankee Stadium, and not this year, but in 2019, those fans in right field were all over me. Like that can really, as much as you like to say it doesn't like factor in, it can play a role. So it was nice being on the road and not getting chewed out for sure in the outfield. But at home, like, yeah, we wanted to, especially when we got a rally going, it would have been great to have that crowd noise, and it just wasn't there. So it was different.
I know as a fan, that was the weirdest thing for me watching games on TV, because they did a great job, like you said, with the fan noise. It did feel like it was still a normal game, but then they cut to the crowd and you see cardboard and nobody. So
Yeah.
not the same as actual people, John at other players, and you can hear every
Yeah.
little thing that happens on the field. So that was it for the fan questions here. Mine that I had for you was kind of something we covered already. I was just going to say, what would you consider to be the highlight of your career so far? But I know we talked about the game against your brother, unless there's anything else you can think of.
Yeah, the game against my brother is pretty special, pretty up there. Highlight of my career, probably hitting my first home run in Yankee Stadium. Just because both my parents grew up in New York, and actually my brother hit his first big league homer in the Mets Stadium. It's like Citi Field now, right? Yeah, it's Citi Field. It used to,
yeah.
But my dad was a huge Mets fan growing up, and he used to go to all the games. So both of us hitting our home runs in New York is pretty special. But I mean, that feeling for me was really special, just because, and I can tell you like a quick just story about it, where I didn't start that game. We got down, I think 10-0, and it was the 7th inning. And so Sin Soo Choo was in right field. I got replaced, or I took over for him, just because it was a blowout lead by the Yankees. And so I was out there in right field, and I was just getting chewed out by the right field stands. They did a good job. And I even remember I was running into the dugout, and one of the umpires told me, like, damn, man, it's 10-0, and they're not giving like you any break. I was like, I know, damn, I just got in the game. So that was kind of fun. And, they just, I can tell you, I was playing catch with Delino DeShields in the top of the 9th. No, sorry, bottom of the 8th. So the last time I was going to be out in the field, unless we made like a unbelievable comeback. But I was playing catch with them, and the fans were all over me trying to get a ball. And so after I got done throwing, I looked to toss it in the stands, and immediately, like, I tossed it in the stands, and some guy catches it. Immediately, I'm looking to see where it landed. Hopefully like a kid caught it or something like that. right when the guy catches it, he throws it right back at me. And then I was like, okay, well, and I caught it because good for him. He made a good throw. I want to know the guy's name. But, and then so I was like, okay, I gave you guys one chance. So I threw it to Delino. He threw it in, and now I'm getting even chewed out more because like I'm depriving them of a ball, but I tried. And then the next inning, in the top of the ninth, I homered. And it's actually funny. It just went in the first row, which Clint Frazier was out there, obviously great player. Aaron Judge had been replaced, and if he's out there, he might have a better shot at it just because of his stature. But by the goodness of God, whatever, it worked out. And then when I got back in the dugout, the right field stands was actually giving me a lot of props, and they were shouting my name. So that was a really special moment. And then after the game, like I had a lot of DM requests on Instagram just saying like, hey, like that was really cool. Like I was one of the guys in right field chewing you out, and like you showed us out. Like that was cool. So that was a special moment for me.
That's awesome. I can't even imagine something like Yankee Stadium. You know, they got one of the longest and best histories, and those fans do not go easy on anybody. So that was it for all of
Yeah,
the
for sure. They let you have it.
questions I had there. And then to wrap it up here, I kind of have these quick rapid fire questions. So these are very important to the future of your MLB career. So
Let's do it.
No pressure. All right. Pineapple on pizza. Yes
Okay.
or no?
No.
Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
If you could play another sport besides baseball, what would it be?
Basketball, but I'm not good. I wish I was a good player.
All right, and then the last and definitely most important question, who has the best Rangers fan page on Instagram?
Fan page?
Yeah,
Texas Rangers Fanatics.
that's a good answer. So those are all the questions I have for you, man. Thanks again, really, for doing this. It has been great, and best of luck to you in Cincinnati. I'll link your Instagram and Twitter in the description of this video as well. Y'all go hit him up. He's a great guy, gonna be a great ball player here for years to come. Be sure to follow all my social media as well. And thanks again, Scott. Anything else you'd like to say to the people?
Miss everyone in Texas, but go Reds.
All right, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.